Steve Forbes, the aforementioned Forbes Media Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, and Charles Payne, host of Making Money, the Money Man. It's good to see you both. Charles, first of all, today's market rally is a good thing. Almost wiped out yesterday's game, put us in a good mood. Does it indicate anything to you about whether or not we've reached a bottom of the correction?
Well, I tell you, it's one thing I do want to point out to the audience, very, very important. That the financial media is saying, no, this is all about what Besson said. No, the market, that news broke at 112, near the high of the session. There's a much better story going on. Jerry hit on it with GE Aerospace, 3M, Chevron, the CEO of Chevron. He goes on national TV, says there's no recession in sight. These large companies that we were told at the beginning of earnings season would not give us any guidance. They're giving us guidance. Now, some are saying, okay, tariffs may hurt us this way, but they're saying we have robust businesses. 3M, they're going to unveil 215 new products this year. We learned more this morning about American exceptionalism. But by the way, it's not just about artificial intelligence or computer chips. It's about companies that have been around for 100 years. They've been through this before. They know how to handle these things. They'll make it through it again. And that's what we were reminded of this morning. And that's the other part of this story that's going to be completely wiped out as people read about the market tonight or tomorrow morning.
And I want to talk a little later about whether or not factories, the reintroduction of our nation as really a mainstay of factory production around the world is if we have enough workers for that. But first, I want to ask Steve. We've got the recession now. It looks like a couple of CEOs are saying, forget about it. We ain't going to have a recession. We are in sort of limbo land about a tax, the extension of the tax cuts and putting in some more tax cuts. But then we have trade. Is trade the biggest reason markets are now fluctuating so much?
Yes, because there's so much uncertainty. Eventually, I think we believe we'll get some tax bill. The president's put his whole presidency at stake on that. But in terms of a trade deal, people want to see, let's actually get one. So the rumors of a good one, good. India and Japan would be a 10th strike if we got those fairly soon. So people want to see, as they used to say in the old days, where's the beef? And that's what they want in these trade deals, something actually there, because if you get one or two biggies, then others can follow suit and say, we'll take this template, blah, 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 and you can get the ball rolling. But they want to see something first. So the market's going to have these wild fluctuations. And by the way, on manufacturing, one of the things that gets overlooked with the focus on trade is how much regulations killed manufacturing in this century.
Yes.
1,400 regulations costing more than $100 million hit manufacturing. Absolutely, we killed ourselves. Self-inflicted wound. Hopefully, DOGE is going to finally get rid of some of those.
Charles, we have about 10% of the workforce working in factories now. You compare that to the 30% we had in 1970, a huge, huge drop. Has Trump put out enough incentives, deregulation incentives, and tax incentives to bring back the country to the 1970s level, or how much more than the 10% of the workforce could be employed by factories?
I love that Steve brought up the deregulations or regulations because over the weekend, Apollo published a piece, and that was one of the reasons I think we had a lot of pressure yesterday, saying, well, historically, trade deals take 18 months to negotiate and another 45 months to put into place. Obviously, no one's looking at that timeline, right?
I hope not.
Now, of course, we're doing things differently. And bringing back the manufacturing is two things. The regulations are ridiculous, and also the workforce. I would like a greater focus also on that potential workforce. And these memes that were making around a couple of weeks ago of fat, sloppy Americans hunched over a sewing machine or screwing in screws, there's two things that really offended me there. A, there's a lot of tedious work out there that people do right now, at this very moment. I know in the Hamptons, you probably have your cocktails and think that people don't do those jobs, and they could pay very well. These are the jobs that migrated people from the South to the North, that as we were becoming the greatest nation on earth. And we need a trained workforce. It was China put those out. And they were sort of dissing us, right? Just dumb, fat, lazy Americans who couldn't even do those kind of jobs.
They did some fancy AI work, having Trump on an assembly line.
Right. And the thing is, though, we need to embrace this, right? It's every day, everything is physical. Look at all this physical stuff around us that we can build and we can make. It's not everything's going to be a computer chip. And so we need to take advantage of it. We need the workforce to do it. We need to train the workforce, but it's not a 4-year degree. And so I'm really extremely optimistic about this. I really am. I think this could be the last chance we have to try to right the ship.
And Steve, 80% of Americans, there was a poll out, I think Cato Institute put out the poll, 80% of Americans want more factory work in the United States. Only 25% of Americans say they personally would be better off working in a factory. But that 25%, those are the two bars on the right there, blue Democrats, obviously red Republicans, 25% is more than double the amount of workers now in working factory work. So that would actually be a great bonus for us. It looks like we do have the workforce for a new factory output.
Well, one of the big things is how many of the several million people who've opted out of the workforce, mostly guys in their 30s and 40s, can be brought back into the workforce. And that's going to combine a variety of things. For example, on Medicaid, you should work if you want to get Medicaid benefits if you're able in your 30s and 40s and things like that. So you just don't have the option of sitting around if you want to. You can go and do some work. And the thing, hopefully, about AI in terms of factory work is it makes us less drudgerous and dangerous than it was in the past.
Absolutely.
And that's the key thing.
People are using their brains on the assembly. It's not the old assembly line that you see from Charlie Chaplin movies, et cetera. Steve Moore, who we all know and love, put out a piece today talking about the hollowing out of the middle class. And bottom line is, he said he was claiming that Americans are better off now, middle class Americans are better off now than they ever have been. However, if you can see, I think we have a bar chart there. There's the headline. But if you look at a chart, 40,000 was the median income the year I was born, around 1954, 55. My dad had exactly that. It was $3,500, but in current dollars, it's $40,000. That's at the left end of the chart. With $40,000 a year, my dad had a house, he had a car, he had 2 kids, he had a wife who did not work, and our granddad lived in the basement.
Yeah.
Try doing that with double $40,000 today.
Yeah, I mean, college tuitions went through the roof. Child care was gone through the roof. Everything is, home affordability, we know right now is at an all-time low, right? I mean, you cannot afford, there's never been a time in our history where a house is more unaffordable.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you 1,000%. Also, the middle class used to be a big chunk, right? And the middle class has gone like this. Either you're upper class or you're lower class.
Right.
There's hardly even a middle class to even have this debate about anymore.
Steve, there's before we go, we're going to be talking taxes with Grover Norquist in the next segment, but I just had to bring this out. This is a chart. I didn't have them make a special one. These are the various tax brackets that we have. We have 7 tax brackets. Now, I know it's a very complicated thing putting together this tax package, but can we at least, as part of that package, simplify simplify the tax code a little bit?
And that's the big opportunity they're missing. For example, the 2 big brackets that hit the middle-class people, especially in blue states who want the SALT back again, are the 22 and 24% brackets. Reduce those to 15. Or to 12.
Yes.
You have a 12% bracket, and then it goes to 22. Reduce it to 12 or 15. And the 32, 35, 37 reduces to 30. Not a flat tax, but start to flat the thing out so you earn more and you get to keep more.
Maybe a flat tax is too heavy a lift right now with everything else going on.
But they can get rid of those brackets.
Could we do it before the end of this Trump term?
I think he's got the mind to do it.
Okay.
And he would have the courage to do it. But in the meantime, let's reduce 7 to 3.
Steve, Charles, great to see you both.
Too.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. And be sure to tune into Charles's town hall, another big town hall, Making Money Unbreakable Investor, the Next Generation. It's this Thursday, just 2 days from now, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Fox Business. You can get free tickets, by the way, to join the audience by visiting the website you see on the screen there.